doing a bit of reflection lately on what I've learned being in the gym for 20 years and how that kind of affects, not kind of, it does affect many, many, many different aspects of your life. So 25 years, what I mean is I didn't go sometimes, I didn't like have long periods of off or downtime. Um, like I actually have been in a gym for 25 years, 5 days a week, right? For 25 years. I don't typically work out on the weekends and haven't really ever worked out on the weekend. So it's like a job, Monday through Friday obedience. So 25 years. What have you learned? What can you teach me, right? Teach my own self on reflecting, because that's what you're doing when you reflect about stuff. You kind of analyze it and you evaluate it. And what can I say to have you guys think about what you're doing a little bit differently and how it benefits you? Now, I'll start this out with a story. Recently, I met a guy who I met like 5 years ago, and while he wasn't in bad shape, he wasn't in shape. He had not been to the gym. Like he was like your average guy, right? And at the time, this man was 54 years old. He was 54 years old. So that I see him again 5 years later, whatever, 4 years later, 5 years later. He's 53. Now he's 58 years old. Since then, this man who had never worked out before in his life, other than like, walking, cycling, kind of the, weekend stuff that a lot of guys do. They go to the gym sometimes, they get in the elliptical or whatever. He went from looking completely different. Like the look of him, how he stood, how he carried himself, like upright. His face looked like the face of an athlete. And to be honest, he looked younger than he did when I had first met him. And he's 5 years older. 5 years older. And like 5 years older when you're getting into your 50s, that's a big difference. Like 5 years really starts putting on the age. When you get in your 40s, you go from 40 to whatever, 45 to 46, you actually look a lot older. The same thing. You get into your 50s, like you look a lot older. And get into your 60s, again, you look a lot older. So I was reflecting on leadership and discipline and thinking about the gym. And he had spoken about how hard it was. He's like, I felt like such a weakling. I felt terrible. I couldn't even like lift the weights, and I got 20-pound dumbbells, and I'm suffering and I'm sore and this and that and the other thing. But what the guy did is he completely transformed his life in 5 years, from the way he exercises to lifting weights to how he carries himself, how he speaks, how he gets into a room. It's very impressive. Even if you start late in life, it's extremely, extremely impressive. So 25 years in the gym, like this is just a quick reflection for you guys and for me of what I've seen, right? In myself. And it's real high level, right? We can get real granular with it. And maybe we'll do that one day, do a long form video and get really, really granular with what I've done for 25 years and the lessons I learned. But we'll just go extremely high level for this time. And we're gonna go with nine. We're going to go with 9 things that I learned, and then we can get granular in the future, whatever. So 25 years of the gym. What have you learned, Rich? So one thing is sitting straight and posture. Like the way you carry yourself when you've been lifting weights for a long time is different than your average guy. You're not hunched over, you're not curved C, your shoulders aren't in. You sit as, and I like to describe it as this. And I remember a long time ago, I'd see guys like this, and I was like, wow, I'd like to carry myself like this. Is, you know how a dress shirt looks on a hanger? You start to look like a dress shirt on a hanger, like not in a bad way, but in a very like masculine way, like V cut, like a dress shirt on a hanger, like squared off where you could see your traps, your shoulders are there. The way you carry yourself and the way you stand and the way you sit. That's number one. Big kind of reflection, evaluation of you just carry yourself differently. And number two, when you carry yourself differently and you're upright and you've been in the gym for a long time and you have a little bit of muscle mass on you that's different than everybody around you, right? It's because that's true. It's there's not many guys that walk into a room like that. When you walk into a room, you're able to command authority. I mean, whether you have it or not, all of a sudden, like authority is commanded by the way you speak and the way you carry yourself. And it's all because of the time that you've spent in the gym, because you're standing upright, your shoulders are squared off, your head is back, your face gets, cut like a more like an athlete because your diet's also a little bit dialed in because why work out if you don't have a super dialed in diet? Not super, but just enough to be in good shape. So that's number two. So number one, sit straight, your posture, everything's different. When you walk into a room, because everything's different, you're commanding authority into a room. Number three, you look better in suits, casual wear. That's just the truth. You're going to find very quickly that those old pictures of you and then the new pictures, you could even wear the same clothes. Like you're just going to look 100% better. And that's appealing for yourself and then everyone around you. The way clothes fits, like I could buy a lot of stuff off the rack these days and just have it kind of tailored or not tailored and, done a certain way. And I'm just going to look better than, the regular guy picking it up at the store trying to put it on. And that's something to be said. The other thing too, and we talked about this, I touched about it as well as number four, is it helps you be better looking. There are a lot of guys that are, I don't believe that there are too many ugly people in the world. Like there aren't. They're just like overweight people and not in shape people and kind of crusty people. And it doesn't exist, man. It really, there's hardly any ugly people in the entire world. What becomes ugly is people that don't take care of themselves. Like your face changes, your neck changes, like the way you carry yourself changes. And when you start to lift weights, especially as a man, as for men, you become better looking. Like it does something to your face. It thickens your jaw naturally without supplements or this or hey, this guy was doing this. No, it just like it happens by itself. Like I have old pictures of me before I started working out. My face is different. My face looks different. And I could guarantee today, if I was 46 years old and had never been to the gym, my face would look very different. Not strong, not masculine, not any of those things. Like it gives you a masculine look, which is very attractive when you lift weights and when you have everything kind of in check. All right, cool, man. That was number four. Number five is it allows you to be a model that other men want to emulate. I've often found when, in those situations, all of a sudden the questions start arising like real quick, like, hey, how do you work out? What do you do? Like those questions, what are you eating? What are you not eating? Blah, blah, blah. They want to know because they want to emulate you because they see you and then they're like, hey, how can I get this too? What does this guy know that I don't know? Because most people are not like that. So a good lesson is they come up to you and they want to emulate you, which opens up a lot of different conversations and a lot of different conversations with different type of people. It could be, you know, business owners. It could be just your regular guy, like in a warehouse. It doesn't make a difference. You're having like more interactions and you're able to kind of talk to them as an expert and they want to know. So somebody that other guys want to emulate. This is kind of I led into my next one that was number five. This is number six. Questions and conversations arise because men generally want to ask questions about what you do and how you do it. That's number six. We just talked about that. Number seven is you develop an air of fear and command. So anything, whether it's in a business situation, it's with your family, it's in outside of the house situation, like at a restaurant, just because of how you carry yourself, because you work out, because you're standing straight, because your face is leaned out, you're going to command authority and a tiny bit of fear, or maybe a lot of fear. I don't know. It depends upon like how you carry yourself and who you are and what you look like. but there's definitely going to be like an air of fear. Like you don't want to cross somebody that looks like they could potentially cause you harm. So that also keeps a lot of dangers at bay. It keeps a lot of people from misspeaking. There was a guy that I knew, and he was a big dude, right? He worked out a lot, and he had a big giant blockhead, a thick neck, and the guy was like 6'2", and we were talking about getting into scraps, like like fights a long time ago. He's like, man, he's like, I never get into fights. Like no one even like approaches me for a fight. And I was thinking to myself, why is that? It's like, I'm 5'8", so it's a little bit different for me. But this guy 6'2", and built, jacked big. And he's like, never have I been in a fight. Like never. Like people don't even do that. And the reason being is because he looks the way he does and he commands authority. If he says like, hey man, sit down, like people are just gonna naturally listen, and you become actually less dangerous, right? Because you don't have to be dangerous. You don't have to be aggressive. You just look aggressive. And people are like, maybe I'm not going to cross that guy. Maybe I won't say that thing. Maybe I won't make a poor comment about his wife or his girlfriend or his children or whatever it might be, or something stupid. So think about that, guys. You have an air of fear and command. That was number 7. Number 8, self-leadership and dedication and obedience. That's what the gym gives you as well. That time in the gym, that 5 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever you're doing, year over year, week over week, blah, blah, blah. Like you got the rhythm, like you're doing those basics exercises. You're getting self leadership because like no one's whipping you to go. Like you're forcing yourself to go. So you're getting that self leadership, dedication, and obedience. And this is great for work, for marriage, for kids, governing your family, as well as the bonus is all religion, true religion, right? Demands what? Religion demands obedience. Obedience. It says God loves obedience more than sacrifice. So it gives you obedience. So working out, that nonstop grind that you're doing is self-leadership that gives you obedience to command your family, command your life, command religion, gives help you worship God and be obedient to God more perfectly. And then that kind of leads me into the last thing is leadership, leadership, leadership. So when you're grinding it out by yourself, you're having that self-leadership, you have a routine, you have obedience, you have discipline. Secondly, that is family. You can create opportunities for your family because you have that self-leadership. You're able to see stuff, command your realm, put things in their place, order things, work. A lot of times, sales opportunities, different opportunities will arise just because of the way you lead and the way you carry yourself, because of your time in the gym, because of that obedience that you have to yourself. So that's it, guys. If you like it, subscribe, share, whatever. Out.